Hello everyone, so it is Shavi Zane. So I am coming on to do this video in regards to the last video that I did regarding Kevin Samuels. Now, the feedback that I received was expected. Okay, I did not do that video anticipating that I would receive a lot of positive feedback because I do know that most people in society today are would much rather be entertained by a platform that strokes their ego and keeps them in a space of focusing in on materialism rather than those who put them in a position of focusing in on self, looking within, really cleaning up their act in terms of their own deficits, their own problems, their own setbacks. People are much more gravitated and drawn to images such as Kevin Samuels. And so when I did that reading, I already made it very clear why I did it, so I don't have to really repeat that. But it's very important that you all understand that a lot of times when people do things, it has to come from a space of integrity, okay? And so if they're doing it from a space of deception, if they're doing it from a space of dishonesty, then it's something that has to be questioned. You have to understand that the times that we are in, we cannot afford to be dealing with people who are using their image or using their power to further divide the black man and woman, okay? We are in very critical times right now, all right? And so if you don't see that, it's only because you are very focused in on the ego. You have yet to drop the ego. You have yet to drop the mask. You have yet to do the inner work to heal. And so there will be many people that follow Kevin Samuels that will come for people like me and that will have negative things to say about me and about the type of work that I do, which I don't mind that, because when I first got into reading cards, when I first started walking my spiritual path, I had a lot of naysayers, and so I'm very used to that. I've built up a very strong protective barrier, so it rolls off my back. But this particular discussion today is actually going to be directly towards those of you who had all of the negative comments to say up underneath my post. I even had a couple of people who made videos about me and said whatever it is that they said. And so I want to definitely put this as a mirror for you all, because I feel that there's some things that you all need to take a look at within yourself. And so whether you decide to stick around, whether you decide to click off the video, thanks for coming in. But this is definitely going to bring some clarity for those people who are fans of Kevin Samuels, who actually, they get very disappointed and very upset at anyone who speaks against him. All right. And it makes me question your level of, it really makes me question your level of attachment to this man, because some people were highly upset, okay? Now, this says, fearful about speaking the truth. Your throat chakra is blocked. Many of you fear speaking the truth. Many of you fear, if you fear speaking the truth, then you also fear hearing the truth. And so, like I said, I'm here to put a mirror in the faces of those of you who are very strong advocates for Kevin Samuel and the type of information or the type of content that he spews towards the black woman specifically. You have a blocked throat chakra. And so if you have a blocked throat chakra and you are still highly in your ego and you are still operating from a space of fear, because fear puts you in survival mode, and in survival mode, you are likely still in your ego. You are still likely in your carnal nature. And so you need someone like Kevin Samuels to be your voice, because your own throat chakra is blocked. So there's something about you not being able to speak your truth. Could it be because you don't know what your truth is? Could it be because you have not done the work to heal yourself as to why you are fearful of speaking your own truth? And so you need someone such as Kevin Samuels to spew lies on your behalf because the truth is too much to bear? Let's see. What else does the collective Those of you who follow Kevin Samuels so closely and are strong advocates for him, physical, sexual, verbal abuse. This will be dealing with your root chakra. So for many of you, you've gone through some sort of abuse, whether it's physically, sexually, or verbally. I'm sure that much of this might have stemmed from your childhood. And if this is something that you went through, I'm sorry to hear that, because it is unfortunate and it happens to many of our people in the Black community. And so this will be dealing with your root chakra. And so quite naturally, if you dealt with these types of traumas, okay, because physical abuse, verbal abuse, even sexual abuse can also happen in adulthood. So at any point in your life, if you've dealt with these types of traumas, it has closed you off. It has shut you down. And when you have these types of things in your life and you have not healed from them and you just continue through life suppressing them because you're so focused on maintaining an image, maintaining the household, the bills, the car note, the clothing that you wear, maintaining the false mask, staying in the matrix. When you hold on to these things, you carry an energy of guilt and shame. And when you are in an energy of guilt and shame, you will be fearful about speaking your truth, okay? And so you will be drawn to people like Kevin Samuels because he will be a direct mirror image of those things that you need to heal about yourself. We often encounter people in our lives. We always encounter people in our lives that come in to hold up a mirror to us. They are a direct reflection of who we are internally. And so when you are drawn to someone and you are an advocate for someone such as Kevin Samuels, it is because he is operating from a space of pain. And you too would be operating from a space of pain if you have yet to heal from any physical, sexual, or verbal abuse that you may have encountered. You are fearful about speaking your truth and it is blocking off your own throat chakra. And so you rely on someone else to project the type of energy that you suppress within yourself. And so here we have extreme sensitivity to natural sunlight, third eye chakra. This will be dealing with the fact that you are not connected to nature. If you have extreme sensitivity to the natural sunlight, especially as a melanated being, it's because you are spending too much time indoors. You are spending too much time within the enclosed walls of maybe your workspace or being at home. You're not going outside, getting connected with nature. And when you have a disconnect from Mother Nature, you have a disconnect from yourself, because that is where you become anchored. That is where you become rooted. That's where you're able to see the oneness of all things that exist around us. That is how you begin to understand the circle of life. That is how you begin to have an appreciation for all things that exist outside of your own carnal nature and your own ego. And so your third eye chakra being blocked, that would be your spiritual eyes. They would be blocked. That means that you are not able to see things from a spiritual perspective. And when you lack visual insight of being able to see things from a spiritual perspective, you will stay on the surface of life in all ways. When it comes to relationships, when it comes to friendships, when it comes to the way that you deal, when it comes to your career, everything will always be from a surface level. You will always see things from a surface level, never being able to see things from a higher level of consciousness as long as your spiritual eyes are blocked. And your spiritual eyes will remain blocked as long as you are still holding on to things from your past, as long as you still have not healed from these things from your past, and as long as you are still fearful of speaking your truth, or at least finding out what the truth means for you versus allowing someone else to project and to determine what the truth is for you. So let's see what else is going on with the collective that is so strongly advocating for this man. You know, I hope that someone receives something from this message, because one thing that I want you to understand is that, you know, when I did that reading in regards to Kevin Samuels, I did it with the intentions that if at least one person, because as you can see, I have a very small channel, if at least one person would be able to receive the message and to be able to see from a higher perspective that it's time for them to shift their focus and take a path that's going to allow them to walk from a space of love, that's going to allow them to walk from a space of self-love, because what he advocates is self-loathing. And when it comes down to, let's just say, when it comes like to your children, all right, would you take that same information that Kevin Samuels is giving you and tell it to your children? Would you as a man, because most of the people that had negative comments up underneath my video was men. It was black men. As a black man, would you stand in front of your teenage daughter, look her in the eyes, and tell her you are not worthy of a high profile man because you are fat, because your BMI does not match what the white man says it's supposed to be when you step on the scale at the doctor's office? Would you look at her and tell her that she is not worthy of a good man if she does not have all of the materialism that lines up with what a good man is looking for based on Kevin Samuel's standards? Would you look your daughter in the eye and tell her that she is not worthy of a happy life, a happy family environment, of a beautiful home, and all of these things based off of what she may or may not possess physically? You would not. Not a person that's coming from a space of love. Now, a person that's coming from a space, if you're in this energy, you've been through sexual abuse, you've been through physical abuse, you've been through verbal abuse, and you've yet to heal from it, then that means that you could very well be one of those parents that would abuse your children in that way, and that will put your children down and make them think that they're less than because they are not your ideal of perfect. Okay? But if you are a parent that truly, genuinely loves your children, you as a man specifically, the black males that had something to say against my reading, specifically, you would never stand in front of your daughter and tell her half of the things that Kevin Samuel says to the women that calls in on his show or on his platform. You would never say those things to your daughter. Why? Because you would tell her to value herself and that everything that she possesses is within her. It has nothing to do with her external. It has nothing to do with whether or not she is the perfect Coke bottle figure. It has nothing to do with whether or not she's able to use the biggest words from the English language, which is not our original language in the first place. It would have nothing to do with whether or not she has enough money or whether her title puts her in a high ranking as in her career. You would never use those things against her. But you will allow a man like Kevin Samuels to do this towards other people's daughters. Not just one, not just two, but thousands of women. Thousands of black women who is your sisters, your cousins, your mothers, your aunts, your nieces. You are allowing this man to say these same things that you would never say to your own seed. And you sit there and you support it. Why? Because what Kevin Samuels puts out there actually helps you. It allows you to continue to wear a mask so that you can block out the fact that you are fearful of speaking your own truth. And so you need someone to stand up on your behalf to spew ignorance towards the black woman to further perpetuate those things that you continue to stay blind to because you want to remain blind. A large part of you does not want to see the truth because once you see the truth about those things that you need to heal from, that puts you in a position where you're being put in a position where you need to do something about it. Either you're going to do something about it or you're going to continue to wear a mask and it's going to continue to eat away at you as time goes on. Okay? So please understand, you would never do this to your daughter. Let me see. What else is coming out for y'all? What else is coming out for y'all? So the card that fell on the floor, this says, judging yourself and others critically. That's all dealing with your solar plexus chakra, honey. Okay? Judging yourself and others critically. Of course you are in that energy of judging yourself and others critically. Beginning with yourself. That's what that says. Judging yourself first. You judge yourself. Maybe because you still hold on to some guilt and some shame based on the things that you have gone through in your childhood or maybe even some part of your adulthood that you have yet to heal from. So if you judge yourself, then you are going to be quick to judge others. Okay? And that's exactly what many of these people did. Now, like I said, I got a tough skin, baby. It doesn't bother me. All right, it rolls right up off of me because the only one that I have to answer to is the Most High God. And I know what path he's directed me down. And whether, you have everybody that has something to say about cars. These are visual aids, sweetheart. These are visual tools. People are visual, okay? So these are visual tools to help you to see. It supports what I already am intuitively aware of. Because many of the things that I pulled on Kevin Samuels in that reading, I had already spoken before I started pulling the cards. So understand, my spiritual eyes are very open. I have a strong level of discernment. I'm able to try a person by their spirit and see right through, right past the mask. Understand this. Okay, so these are visual tools. You are in an energy of judging yourself and others critically. That's all dealing with your solar plexus, like I said. So you need to work on your own courage. You need to work on your own confidence, your own personal power. These are things that you need to deal with. And so far, I have 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 of the chakras out of 7 have come out thus far. And I wouldn't be surprised if I pull all 7, which means that you need to be completely spiritually aligned. Let's keep going. But if you're in this energy of judging others critically, that's why you're so attracted and drawn to Kevin Samuels, because that's exactly what he does. He judges others very critically based off of his own pain, and he uses that pain to tear down other people to make himself feel better, at least for a moment. Because trust and believe, based on what I pulled, the man is heavily burdened by what he does to other people. And meanwhile, you sitting up here applauding him. And while he's sitting over there going through all of these changes emotionally and mentally, because he knows that what he is doing is not directly aligned with his soul. His soul is trying to tell him on a daily basis, it's time for you to change. It's time for you to actually start standing up and supporting your black women rather than tearing them down or judging them based off of how they look. And speaking of BMI, you know, as a black man, you should know better. You should know better, and you should be ashamed of yourself. And if Kevin Samuels was to ever see this video, I'm acting as a mother on his behalf in this moment. I don't care how much older than me he is, because there's a lot of people who are up in age that are still in their adolescence, okay? Still a babe at this thing. And so I'm acting as a mother towards Kevin Samuels right now. BMI, you know good and doggone well that the black woman and our weight is very different from the white woman and the Asian woman. We carry our weight very differently. Bone density and everything. Fat contents, fat stores, where it's stored, all of these things are very different when it comes to us. That doesn't discount the fact that yes, we need to change our diets as a whole, males and females, okay? We need to be more on a plant-based diet, eliminating all of the swine and the bottom feeders and all of these things that's not good for our health, that's not feeding us or actually replenishing us or giving us the nutrients that we need. But keep in mind, you already know that system, that weight system, was not created by us. It was created by the white man, okay? And he did not do it fashioned to factor in the differences between the black woman and our makeup and the white woman or the Asian woman. So how dare you, especially when he sat there and spoke to that young lady and told her that she was fat because she said she was 5 feet and about 140 pounds. But I can guarantee you that every man that would have seen her in a person and face to face would have been turning their heads to look at her, because she was probably very well structured, okay? But see, that's the problem. You want to judge others critically because you're too busy. You're judging yourself in private, and so outwardly you judge others because you're too fearful of fixing and actually healing those things that you have yet to actually face, okay? You have been suppressing those things. And so you project your emotions on other people. And so when people that follow, look at this, shame and guilt. You're in an energy of shame and guilt, and this is dealing with the sacral chakra. That's another chakra. 5 chakras out of 7 thus far, showing me that you need to work on aligning yourself. There's a lot of work that you all need to do, and this is why you are so drawn to that type of man. And I'm very passionate about this at this time because I was very disappointed to see that there's so many of my people that look just like me that support that type of behavior and would come onto my video and have the nerve to tell me that I'm this and I'm that and where's your man and where's your husband. Well, hold on. Last time I checked, is Kevin Samuels married? If you're telling me that as a black woman, I don't have the right to speak up on behalf of my people and to bring out, because what I brought out, the cards spoke for themselves. I interpreted the message to you, okay? I interpreted the message to you. So I came in with a completely, I'm not going to say unbiased opinion, because I was able to see clearly who Kevin Samuels was based on the video that I saw, based on his interaction with multiple people. And another thing that you also need to understand is when it comes with, this ain't about judging somebody, because I had a couple of people that said, well, you only saw one video. How are you going to judge the man based off of one video? Well, how would you judge a person based off of one meeting? If you yourself met someone for the first time, or you was out somewhere and you happen to sit back and observe somebody's interaction with multiple people, and with every last one of those people they was rude, they was callous, they was disrespectful, they was egotistical, they was in their narcissism, they was carrying all of these types of behavioral characteristics, and they was projecting this towards multiple people, you wouldn't even have to have a conversation with that person in order to say, that's not the type of person that I would actually want to interact myself with, because they are very rude and very disrespectful. And on top of that, if Kevin Samuels spoke to your daughter in your face the way that he speaks to those young ladies, you would have something to say and you would have a totally different perception of who he is. But because he caters to your ego as an adult, and because he puts you in a position where you're able to hide your emotions, you're able to hide from your feelings, you're able to hide from your pain and use a mask of materialism, of egotistical behavior, of narcissism, and stand in your carnal ways, because he actually gives you permission, because he's a man in a tailor-made suit, to do that, you support him, and you, with venom, you go against anyone that has anything to say about him. You are operating from a space of shame and guilt, and this is why you judge others critically. This is why you are drawn to people with that type of behavior, and it's time that you do some self-evaluating so that you can get yourself together, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, stand up as a black man. And if I have any black women, I didn't have too many black women that had anything negative to say, because I think that even if they did see the video and they might not have liked the fact that I use cards or whatever the case may be, none of them had anything negative to say, because I think innately, even the black women that say that they're fans of Kevin Samuels, I think the majority of them understand, okay, that what he is putting out there, the content that he is putting out there, is actually in direct opposition when it comes to uplifting the black woman and putting us in a space of healing. Most of us have that understanding. Now, there will be a few that will come through and say something, but for the most part, this was the black men that was very disappointed, okay? So operating from a space of shame and guilt, needing to work on your sacral chakra. The sacral chakra is around the genital region. That's around your reproductive organs. And so for some of you, if you've dealt with sexual abuse or any sexual traumas will actually block your sacral chakra. And it will block your creative nature. It will have you in a space of insecurity, because this is one of the cards that I pulled for Kevin Samuels quite a few times, the sacral chakra. Okay, so that will put you in a space of being insecure, not being able to unlock your natural gifts. Okay, and so understand that these things, when you suppress these things, they affect you very, very largely. Okay, to a large degree. So please understand. Let me see. What is this? Okay, we have here self-sabotage and low self-esteem. Sacral chakra. That's what I was just telling you about. Insecurities, okay? Insecurities. The sacral chakra will put you in a space where you are insecure about yourself. And what do insecure people do? Insecure people create a false illusion for themselves in order to hide those things that they are insecure about. Example, an insecure person that does not like the way that they look. Like for the women, for example, one of the things that's really unnerving to me is that many of the black women are going to go get these butt injections, and I forgot what they call the doggone procedure, but it's so common now. They're going to go do this to themselves, okay? And they're creating a false illusion of who they are, trying to fix everything on the outside, trying to use external ways to fix what's internal. How are you going to use an external measure to fix what's internal? Why? Because if you do something that creates an illusion to others around you, then you can actually try to convince others that you are happy with yourself. Okay, my butt is big, so I'm about to go put my jeans on. Okay, I'm about to go get my lace front and put on my big eyelashes. Okay, and the world is going to believe that I have it all together because physically I'm alluring, physically I'm tempting. Okay, or the man, well, I'm going to go and get me several pairs of these Gucci shades, and I'm about to get me a couple of gold watches and some, I don't even know the name brands because I don't get involved in all of that surface stuff. That's materialism to me. I'm about to go get the newest car. I'm about to ride down the street and sit low, doing all of these things, finding external ways to create a false illusion to make others believe that you are happy when in fact on the inside you torn up, you broken down, you in pain. You don't know which direction to go in. Your mind is all over the place. You can't stop your mind from racing. You're having all types of thoughts. Okay, you're unhappy with life. You have no true zeal or passion in life. You don't know what your purpose is here. All of these different things that you're struggling with on the inside, but because you're able to create an illusion through materialism, through ego, and through your carnal nature, you figure, well, I can go through life this way as long as I continue to hustle and get my bag. You know, because Kevin Samuels, honey, he got about 50 pair of glasses. It seemed like every time he picking up a new pair of glasses. And how do you have so many glasses and you're still blind? So many glasses that probably cost $500, $700, maybe even $1,000. You got all these glasses and you're still blind. Still not able to see who you are at your core. Still not able to understand life from a spiritual perspective. Why? Because you're looking through the wrong set of eyes. You're looking through your physical eyes and you've yet to see life from a spiritual perspective. And you're not going to be able to see life from a spiritual perspective as long as you continue to judge others and you don't go within and do your own work. As long as you carry the energy of shame or guilt. It's very low vibrational when you're in the energy of shame or guilt. As long as you're in this energy of having low self-esteem and self-sabotage. So if you're out there and you're self-sabotaging things, you know what's happening? You're self-sabotaging your relationships as well. What Kevin Samuels does, the type of information and the type of advice that he gives you, it puts you in a space of self-sabotaging relationships. And you'll be the first one to self-sabotage the relationship because your ego and your pride will not allow you to be in a situation to allow someone else to walk away from you first. It's time to change, y'all. It's time to pay attention to what's happening around you and see that this thing is way bigger than what you can create in the physical. This is bigger than the illusion that we have created for ourselves as a community of people over the past few hundred years. We allowed another man to create an illusion for us, and now here we sit creating an illusion for ourselves, allowing someone else to stand here and speak your truth for you because you're too fearful to speak your own truth. Why? Because a large part of you don't know your own truth because you're still blocked with so many things that you have gone through in the past. It's time that we have a mirror placed in front of us. You think I didn't have to do the work on myself? You think I sit here today able to speak to you in this way with passion and from a space of empathy though? From a space of compassion, though, from a space of love. This is coming from love. This ain't coming from me hating y'all. This is not coming from me feeling angry at y'all for having your comments or your perspective. But I want you to see something here. You've been guided to me for a reason, whether you want to admit to it or not. A large part of your ego will not allow you to admit to that. Because a large part of your ego, because you've been so conditioned to believe that the black woman has nothing of value to offer to you, because you still mad at your mama, because you still mad at your father for not being there, you will take the words of a black woman and you will misconstrue them, and you will misconstrue my passion for anger. I'm coming from a space of compassion, and I would never sit here and tell you that you're not good enough because your body mass index it tips the scale. I would never tell you that you're not good enough because you don't have enough money in the bank. I would never tell you that you are not good enough because of the car that you may or may not drive. As a black man and as a black woman, do you not know your own value just because you was born with melanin in your skin? You have the ability to go deep within and to unlock and to activate DNA and to become a superhuman being. Do you know who you are? And for those of you that had something to say about that video and questioned me and said, well, what do you have to say about the enemy? Do you have anything to say about Biden or anybody else? Guess what? Maybe you should go and look into my channel. Take a look at who I am. Go within first. Listen to your inner voice and decide who I am. Don't allow yourself to judge because I'm the one that's putting a mirror up in front of your face and showing you that what you have been doing and what you have been drawn to is nothing more than materialism, ego-based, carnal nature things. It's time to step outside of that and to go deeper. Are you capable of doing that? Are you willing to do that? Are you willing to do the work to heal? Are you finally ready to change? And if not, you'll continue to go through life self-sabotaging, judging other people critically, judging yourself critically, in an energy of shame and guilt, still holding on to abuse from your past, fear of speaking your truth, and still not having a connection to nature and all things that exist around you. And you know what that makes? That makes you a robot. Confined in a box. More concerned about what other people think of you than what you think of yourself. Not willing to work and to heal to do the work. Not willing to heal and do the work on yourself because you think that as long as you can continue to create a facade for yourself, continue to create an illusion for yourself, a mirage of who you are, it's not even real. It's time to drop the act. Stop playing the politics. Take a good look in the mirror. Would you talk to your daughter in that way? Would you tell her that she's not good enough as a black woman because of what she may or may not possess? Understanding that many of the things that we should have today, we don't have because it was stolen from us. And how much time have we had to put in to try to work to get ourselves back into a position to where we even halfway balanced? That's only on the surface. But dive deeper into the type of wounds that we have to heal from within. It takes time, but it's not going to begin with someone like Kevin Samuels. Until he does the work to heal himself, his message will not be productive in our community. What part of that can you not understand? I challenge you. If you have a teenage daughter or a daughter that's grown, go tell her the same things that Kevin Samuels says to the young women that call in on his lives. Say those things to her and use the same amount of passion and conviction that he uses when you speak to her. And see what type of results you get. See what type of damage you do. And then you come back and tell me about what I say about this man. I'm going to pull one more card for the collective. And I hope y'all take this and actually do something with it. You have here anger and aggression. This is dealing with the root chakra. Anger and aggression. So this is coming from suppressing your emotions. This is coming from being in that space of not healing. When you suppress your emotions and when you hold things in and when you don't allow yourself to operate from your true authentic nature, you end up in the space of being angry and aggressive. And Kevin Samuels is that way towards many people. He shows no empathy. He shows no compassion. He does not come from a space of integrity. And so you are drawn to someone who is able to express those same angry emotions that you have bottled up within you because you are too fearful of speaking your own truth. A large part of you probably wishes that you could go out and spew those types of things to people. But then at the same time, you know, you might have held yourself back from being that type of person because you already know that you wouldn't be able to live with yourself. You wouldn't be able to look yourself in the mirror if you was going out saying half of the things to women or half of the things that Kevin Samuels has been saying to the black women. You wouldn't be able to look at yourself in the mirror. And like I said, I challenge you, go say it to your daughter. Say it to the woman that you love the most in your family. Go to that black woman that you love the most and tell her she's fat and she is not worthy of a good man because she does not have this and she does not have that. And in comparison to the Asian and the white woman and this woman and that woman, you go and tell her that. And let's see how far you get. So that's my message for y'all. I hope you receive something from it. I love you. Talk to you next time.